Okay, we're live.
Hello.
Hi. I hope
I
I'm doing this right. It's
I think
it's
I
been a
think
while.
it has been a while. We haven't been on in like a couple months actually.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
we took a break. We took a mental health break.
Which is very timely for this conversation today, actually.
Yeah. Um we definitely needed some time. I think one of the big things for us, well, I guess the reason we didn't do a few episodes, we were traveling, so we were in Jordan for a bit.
Yeah.
Um we were there for
I
a whole
I
month.
actually went twice. So I actually just got back for
Noora
that,
just got back. You just got
which
back.
is which is fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and so it's just been a lot of
A
stuff.
lot.
Um, and I think that it's really important though that we start these back up. Also because we have a lot of exciting updates. We want to make sure we're able to share those with people. Um, and we also have kind of an end of year series of exciting sales happening. We want to make sure that everybody's aware of that. So, yeah. How are you, Noora?
I'm good. I was rushing. We have a marketplace happening at Sherway Gardens, so we were there setting it up. It's been fantastic. Um, so it's just end of year hustle, right? I mean, that's what it is. I was actually talking to a friend earlier today, and he was saying, you know, he's like, I saw your post about, taking care of your mental health. And I started thinking about my own mental health, and I was like, wow, sometimes it takes a little bit of like someone talking about it for you to like recognize that it's important to also reflect on your own pace day to day and what that actually means to you. I know we've implemented things personally
Mm-hmm.
for us to like help navigate the stress level that like happens when you run a business.
Yeah, I that's actually, well, you should talk about some of the things you've been doing. I hope you've been doing some things. I think we always say, "Oh, what are you doing for yourself?" But then we don't really answer the question.
Well, I mean, this year was the first time, and I actually like applaud my husband for like literally pushing me and signing me up to the gym. He was
Mm,
like, "You need to just let go of some of your stress on like, if it's a run or something like, and that just taking care of your physical health has a big
right.
component of also taking care of your mental health." So I would always be like, I don't have time for the gym. I need someone to watch my kids. Like I always had an issue with it. And so he literally put me on the spot, signed me up, and was like, "Oh, you have a membership. You have to go now." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And so I would make it a point to like schedule it in. And so even times where like I don't have, like yesterday, I put on a couple of YouTube shows, broadcasted it on our TV, and me and my kids actually like did some cardio workout, which is
Oh,
actually kind of
that's
cool.
cute.
But sometimes like it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to
No,
be like, but I realize like it's those little like 30, 45 minute kind of
right.
snippets that we do that actually help, if I'm feeling like stressed out or like, I've just had a really long day, even though it feels like, oh, the last thing I need to do is work out, like actually after I work out, I surprisingly feel very refreshed, and feel like my mental state's actually a little better. Like, I don't know, maybe it's like
Hmm.
all the sweating or something.
I,
Sweating out the
I, that's
stress.
one thing. That's one thing I think I've always done, even when it's hard. I, I'm trying to think of a time when actually that wasn't part of my routine because there were other mental health like things um, that I had never done before. Like I really never meditated before. I really never journaled,
Yeah.
regularly. Um, those are all things that I think about when it comes to like these are what you do for your mental health. These
Hmm.
are like the healthy steps you take. Um, Exercise for me was always, I think also like I grew up, my dad, my family has like a history of heart disease. And so with my dad, when he was in his like early 30s, and I remember this as a kid, he was really concerned about his health and his kind of, the generational issues that he had as from his side of the family. And so he started riding a bike like every day. He had this
Oh, I love that.
old like 10-speed bike. And he would take it out and go for a bike ride and come back. And I remember just watching him do that. And I was like, oh, this is important, because I look to my dad as like someone who knows what, knows what he's doing. And I was like, okay, this is important. Like, I'm going to start, taking exercising more seriously. And I mean, I think that, it's also hard as women because I think it can also, there's a fine line with exercise too, because body image is such a big part of like women's mental health issues in a lot of ways, like culturally. And so I think
I think
definitely
setting your
a line.
intention is really important.
Yeah.
Like setting your intention, like why are you working out? Because sometimes people are like, oh, you often hear like, oh, you don't need to work out, or it's not.
Right.
It's and again, I think recently I actually started doing weights, which I've never done weights ever, but I found that like I can hold my groceries better. Like I can carry my children and not feel exhausted. Like these are like things that you don't think of. Like sometimes you're like, oh, you know, you don't need to do weights or you don't need to do and sometimes it's just literally just having like a better stance of like I can carry a, a box out into my car and not feel like I'm hyperventilating, for example. Um, but yeah, I think body image is important. But I think if you set your intention of like, why are you doing this workout?
Right.
What is the intention behind it? It's not about and to some people, yeah, you might want to shed a few pounds. That's great. But I mean, that's their intention to do it. I think if you do it for the sake of like having a good heart and just kind of like having a chance to unwind through your workouts. I think it goes a long way. It's
Mm-hmm.
not a sense of like comparison. It's not a sense to see like my pant size change, but it's really just, I think for me, the work, like starting working out this year for the first time. And I should caveat this by saying, but like I have not worked out properly at a gym since maybe my first baby that like before I gave birth to Iyad, right?
Yeah.
Like so that was like 8 years ago. That's like a big jump for me, like from like from like regularly maybe like going to the gym to like nothing for 8 years. And
Yeah.
so that was like to go back was just like right? It was just it was
It
a
can be a
lot.
bit overwhelming.
It
It
was, it
can.
was. And I remember my husband was like, take it easy. And I was like, okay, well,
Yeah.
and it's good because you see yourself progress, you see yourself like having something to go to, and then also like re-energizing your your efforts, your like your just
Mm-hmm.
body in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Um,
It
and I
completely
think you,
changes your energy levels.
yeah. I mean, you talk about journaling, which I think is also really important. Something I try to do, maybe not as active, but journaling is another important, I think, element of just like having a in person, just like a by yourself kind of thing, just like reflecting on whatever it is that you want to like jot down.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a writer, if you're like writing, I think it's definitely a good chance for someone to do something like that. Um, but I mean, I think we kind of jumped into this episode to talk about mental health, but we can
Right.
kind of take a few steps back to say, why are we talking about mental health today? And what is the kind of like, what are we trying to kind of push out for everybody?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so we did start this discussion last year, and if you go back in the archives of this show that we started, um, we actually started talking about mental health at the very beginning of last year in 2021. And this was on the heels of COVID and the compounded stress we started seeing on our team members. And I think this also, I think it begs the additional mention of the fact that we had our own mental health like struggles we were going through, but there was an external factor that really help shine a light on those issues for
Yeah.
ourselves. Because I think oftentimes we don't tend to be as critical of ourselves. It's easier to look at other people and say, oh, they need help, they need support. But then you start to recognize after the fact, oh, this is universal. This is something that I'm also like not being as aware of for myself. So we our team member, we had a really close friend and team member who passed away in the beginning of 2021. And our whole team, had just survived or was continuing to survive through COVID and had lost someone very close to them. And it just started to weigh on them very heavily. And we had team members coming to us saying like, they just couldn't, they couldn't put in the work. They were tired. They were exhausted. They were just carrying the sadness with them. And so we brought everyone together and said, okay, what are some things that we can do right now to help you? What can we do? What do you need? And one of the biggest things that they wanted to see at that moment was an opportunity to leave the camp and to go somewhere that was away from that environment. And, I think this is really actually very courageous of them to bring up too, because it means that, all these women love their families. They love to be there for their family and take care of them. But they really saw in that moment what they needed, which was like, I need time away. Like,
Yeah.
I need space. So we put together this retreat. It was a weekend retreat, several days, where the women left the camp. They got on a bus all together and they went to a private villa that we had rented out. And we actually paid for psychosocial support counselors who specialized in trauma of marginalized communities and refugee communities to come and sit with them. She did one-on-one counseling sessions as well as group counseling and workshops. And then we also had Shireen Khamis, who is this absolutely amazing, kind, generous.
I love her.
Yeah, I feel like every time you talk to her, you just come out of a meeting with her feeling like, wow, the world isn't a terrible place.
No.
But she's a holistic health teacher. She also is a certified yoga and Pilates instructor. So she gave the women several sessions throughout that weekend to teach them breath work, meditation techniques, kind of movement techniques, and that they could apply to their daily lives after the retreat was over. So the women all came back. It was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. We all loved it. And I'm not exaggerating. Like they actually really loved it. And we were jealous because we wanted to be there.
I think some of them were saying, I mean, I remember just like hearing some of the feedback and I was kind of floored because we've done a lot of programming before. We've never done anything, I think, to this level before. But a lot of them, I think, if you remember, Jackie, some of them were saying like, we've never felt like this is the first time we felt like people cared.
Yeah.
This was the first time we felt like we were listened to. They felt like their own cups were filled. I mean, we talk about fill your own cup before you can kind of like help others. And that was something that came out of that, is like they felt like their own cup was being filled and they had a better capacity to then serve their families and serve their community and then kind of put in the work. Um, and then we talked about this, and we mentioned this before, and often when you think of refugee communities, we always kind of jump to like emergency services, absolute essentials, like, job creation, training, empowerment. But we forget
Yeah.
that, like, amidst of everything and all the other programming that we can build when working, particularly with protracted, vulnerable refugee women, these are communities that have been in the situation for decades upon decades. So they're just like, if we feel drained, I don't know what they're feeling like. They're just on another level. Um, and so again, it's a sense where they are really trying to grasp like just a breath of air, um, in the midst of all the responsibilities and the pressures that they feel on themselves
Right.
as sole breadwinners and as mothers and as wives and as sisters and as community members. Um, so when we thought about, and I remember like, we talked about it, I talked about this last year with like, you know, the wave of COVID and everybody talking about like
Mhm.
your mental health. We forget that they too have mental health struggles, like that we don't talk about, right? We talk about, oh, let's just make sure they have a job. But like, have we talked about it? Are they actually doing okay? And a lot of
Right.
them were not, actually.
Well, and I think you mentioned this before, which is I think there's a common uh, characteristic that's applied to refugee communities, which is this characteristic of resilience. Um, and bearing in mind that the definition of resilience is sometimes misinterpreted, but I think that overall we see this idea of resilience as like people who are to find someone who's able to change with the
Yeah.
challenges in life and to kind of move through them fluidly and still maintain a sense of balance. But I think it's really also, and you were saying this too, it's really important to recognize that refugee communities are experiencing so much intense trauma and carrying that with them throughout their lives that we can't expect them to be resilient all the time, and it's really unfair, in fact, to always say they're resilient, like they can handle this. It's like,
Yeah.
no, like they're still people at the end of the day, and they still have like an incredible amount of emotional needs that are just not being met.
No.
Um, they're not
And I
like
think
rubber bands that can just,
it,
spring back.
but I mean, rubber bands do snap,
Right.
right? Eventually,
Right.
if you pull them enough, right, it will
Exactly.
eventually just like it will become frail and it will kind of
Yeah.
just break up. And I think, in this conversation around resilience, it's also our expectation of a community that's already been through so much and
Hmm.
expecting them to continue to go through so much and saying like, you should just be okay because you have a job. Not realizing that there are obviously so many other layers that come into play with their day-to-day lives that we're probably not aware of.
Right.
We touch on this slightly through our impact reporting, through really looking at the assessment of self-reliance, that it's not just about, and it's not directly related to mental health, but when we're talking about self-reliance, for example, when working with refugees, it's not just like, oh, I gave you a job, you're good now. It's really looking at so many other indicators around their day-to-day lives and the households that they live in, to see how they are able to kind of like cope and go through their day-to-day. Like, do they have food insecurity? Do they have, like, these are all things that add layers to like potential mental health stresses in
Right.
these in their households, or with them personally. So really looking at them not as just, you know, we helped create jobs and we're done. Our job here is done. And I think also, as a social enterprise whose mission is to create and alleviate, um, some of the issues around refugees, and to focus on creating self-reliance, talking about mental health seems kind of out of place for some people, because they're like, well, your job is to create job, like, our mission is to create jobs for refugees. Why are we now trying to create therapy sessions for refugees at the same time? But also realizing that, like, if our team is not doing well mentally, like, they're not going to be able to do their jobs effectively. They're not going to
Right.
be able to like
And
show
I
up.
I think it also speaks to the fact that, okay, if we feel the need to create this programming ourselves, there's something wrong with the fact that it's not already there. And there are other organizations whose mission it is just to provide mental health
Hmm.
support. And there are other institutions who are supposed to be fulfilling that role who aren't, right? So I think it also speaks to the incredible void in these services that other people, either have made commitments towards and aren't fulfilling,
Yeah.
or that just simply aren't accessible and don't exist. Um, and mental health services, it's not just about access from the point of does it exist or not, but can you afford it, right? Like so many people cannot afford to pay for therapy. Like,
Well, we know firsthand that the community that we're working with often neglects their own physical health because they can't even afford it, let alone their mental health.
right,
Like, they can't even afford to see a doctor because of an injury, potentially,
right,
because they can't afford like the doctor bills, and they can't risk it, or like, they have to they avoid doing surgery sometimes because they just simply cannot afford it. And
Yeah.
so for us to be like, let's prioritize your mental health. For them, it's like, well, we have other issues we were trying to resolve before we look at our mental health, but also not realizing that like that takes a toll on your actual physical health. Like we
Yes.
know that if you're not taking care of yourself, you know, you might be causing like heart problems, or you might be elevating your blood pressure, whatever it is that could have a direct toll.
Right.
um, and just making sure that they are aware of that. I think one of the techniques I remember Sophia was mentioning, um, and I think it was something Shireen worked on with the women, which was how to breathe when
Right.
dealing through stress. And they were like, I never realized that like the way you breathe could impact you like from a physical state of like how
Right.
to cope with that. And that was really nice to hear because it was like, you know, sometimes we don't realize like even just the simplest things that we can do that is not costly, that
Right.
they can learn, and techniques that they can walk away with can help them navigate on some on times when they're super stressed, or sometimes when they're, you know, their anxieties, you know, elevated, for example. And where
Right.
we can kind of support them from that level.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. So I think, yeah, I mean, the the thing we're doing right now, obviously, is we're trying to create this retreat for a second year in a row. Um, and there's I imagine, and maybe this question doesn't exist in people's minds, but I can see myself asking this question. It's like, well, why can't you just pay for the retreat with the of SITTI? Like, why are you doing this as a crowdfunding campaign? And so I think it's also really important to touch on that. We as a small business, basically, we make so that we can afford to pay our team. We want to make sure as well that and this is part of why we exist, is to create long-term employment opportunities, right? So when we have someone hired on our team through our CBO partners, we ensure to the best of our abilities that they have a job, not just for one time or one project, but it's in the long term. So they're receiving a regular salary, regular stipend every single month. And that's something that they can rely on and they can look forward to and plan for. But, when it comes to additional programming, oftentimes it's a combination of things. A lot of times we're working with our CBO partners to help them raise funds for a certain program. Sometimes we're doing it ourselves. And so through this initiative here, we're focusing on this program itself is going to focus on women who are the primary income earners for their families. That's not to say that our health and wellness initiative down the road is only focusing on women, but this particular program, that's its primary focus. So what we've been doing is we've been taking the feedback from our 2021 retreat program and applying it to this second retreat, but also applying that feedback to programming for the next year, so for 2023. And that's really important to recognize, is that the funds we're raising right now are equipping our team to make those plans and to make that strategy for the long term. We're working with advisors for these programs and for this initiative. And Shireen Khamis has been an incredible resource for us in that process. We also have an advisory board with several individuals who have given us enormous amounts of resources in their time, and will probably continue to do that into the next year. So, we're really excited for that. We have partners through the Refugee Self-Reliance Initiative that we're looking forward to working with and gaining feedback on for the next year's programming. But all of this is to say that with the crowdfunding campaign, we have a goal of $20,000 US. And if you want to go check it out, the link is in the description for this episode. You can click on it and read through everything about what the programming is, how it's being, you know, how the costs are broken down in terms of what's being funded, but also some really important information on mental health and women in refugee communities. I think it's important to notice. So
Yeah, I mean, making sure that this is a priority program for us and making sure that we took the time to both run this crowdfunding campaign and also helped advocate on the importance of mental health with refugee communities,
mhm,
um, is kind of all part of this process. And I think I encourage people that are, um, that are supporters of City and also kind of have like watched our journey and some of the work that we do, that while job creation is critical to our day-to-day operations and existence as a company, also recognizing and having the empathy to create programming around mental health is just as critical. Um, because if we don't step up in a way to help support them on the times where they're literally asking us, like, through our community needs assessment, surveying, and through, just communicating directly with them and saying, like, what do you need? And them saying, like, we'd love to have, group therapy sessions or individual, like, it's a lot coming out of them to actually just ask for it.
yeah,
We don't recognize like that in itself is like a big step forward. And that's kind of, and in a way I say like now it's on, the onus is on us, because then it's this responsibility of, okay, now that we know this, now that we've seen the positive outcomes that have happened from like a one-time retreat that we've done to pilot this idea, and saw what it did in terms of like reviving them and really like helping create like a good environment for the women to like just feel better about themselves
mhm,
and like put in the work, and just like also show up for their families and be able to openly talk about both their mental and physical state with our team and with our organization, um showed us that we're doing something right and that we
right,
should
yeah,
kind of follow on those pathways. So if you are passionate about mental health, if you have personally experienced it yourself, you know how critical and how important it is to put in the time and dedicate effort towards this. And we definitely encourage you to go check out our crowdfunding campaign. We've set up several different rewards on that page, depending on your ability to give, and really looking for opportunities to kind of create a link between your generous donation and also kind of like what you'll get in return as well. One thing I also want to mention around is around corporate gifting. So if you are with a company or you own a company or your company is dedicated towards supporting mental health initiatives, we are offering corporate.
oh, I think you froze, Noora. I'll try and continue for Noora until she gets back into the stream. We are offering corporate gifting rewards. So there's a discount, there's a special discount there for corporate gifting, which is really exciting. So let me just pull Noora back in. Let's see here. You there?
I think I lost you for a second.
Yeah, you froze just for a little bit on there's corporate.
Oh, okay. I think my internet like dropped and then like
That's
it came back
okay.
alive. So, um, I think my computer has its own mental health issues happening.
Yeah,
um,
overworked.
so 100%, all the tabs that are open. Um, so if I apologize, I think I left off with like corporate gifting.
Yeah, so, well, I was just saying, picking up that we have several different rewards. I mean, the really cool thing about this campaign as well is that all the rewards are exclusive to the campaign. So you won't find these rewards
No.
anywhere else on our website. You're not going to find the exclusive gift bundle, for example, for this campaign anywhere on our website. You're only going to find it on the crowdfunding campaign. So this is a great opportunity. Also, I think it's a cool place to do your Black Friday, Cyber Monday shopping early if you want to. This is a great weekend where I know a lot of people are doing that. So head over to our crowdfunding campaign and purchase a reward, and you will get an amazing gift in return that you can either give to yourself, give to a friend, family member, but also you will have done something incredible with your contribution. So that's a cool idea. And I think that I know a lot of people are shopping early this weekend. So check out the crowdfunding campaign if you want to do that.
And if there are other ways that you would like to participate, maybe you can't give a donation, but maybe you can offer something else, definitely feel free to get in touch with us and we can
Yeah.
find opportunities to really help by amplify our campaign, or just, support us in alternative ways, as well. So I know sometimes people feel restrained or they feel like I can't do it. Honestly, I'll say this. If you can give $5 and that's all you can give, then we thank you, you know, so much for putting in whatever you can, because it does go a long way, right? I think
Yeah.
collectively we underestimate what we can collectively do as a community, and I'm confident that collectively we care enough to create that difference and to see that positive change and to be able to know that you are impacting um refugee women's community, like just their well-being essentially at the end of the day.
Yeah. And I think just to just to make sure that people understand too, the way the campaign is running, it'll run for 30 days. So right now we're on day 29. Um, we have certain rewards that are going to be released at certain times, and we have a limited amount of them for this campaign. So also we really encourage you to check that out as early as possible and check it out frequently, because those rewards are going to be changing. There are going to be new ones coming in. And also on Giving Tuesday, we're going to have an Instagram Live that we're really excited about. Shireen Khamis is going to join us as well. And she's going to maybe guide us in a little meditation, but also giving us some really important how-tos on incorporating like awareness of the body in your daily practice and your daily routine. So that's basically like a free class with Shireen Khamis on Giving Tuesday. I mean,
Oh, I can't wait.
you can't not like want to do that. So
Do you remember the last time we had a session with her?
yeah,
We literally did like a breathing meditation. And I swear it was like a couple of minutes and I felt like she was in the room with me and it was just so amazing. And I was like, oh my God, I want another one. It
I
was
know.
literally amazing. It was so good.
Yeah. So she actually, it was interesting too. After that episode we did with her, I think that was the first time and I kind of went back and forth for a while. But that was like the first time I had started meditation again, and then like tried to reincorporate it into my routine. And I had done it like a few years ago, and just for some reason it didn't stick. Um, but it was really, I think she does an amazing job at explaining to how important it is to kind of go within ourselves
Mhm.
and find peace like in our own bodies.
Yeah.
Because I think oftentimes we're all thinking about like, oh, okay, I'll be happier if I do this or if I do that or if I have this or that. And I think it just comes back to the fact that like if we can find calm within ourselves, and then whatever's happening around us, you know, it doesn't have to phase us that much. It doesn't have to like impact us that much if we can really just kind of come back to your breath. So yeah, she's amazing, and she'll be with us that day as well. So there are also going to be like exclusive rewards on Giving Tuesday that you can only access that day. So if you want to join us then, please do so. But yeah, we're really, really excited for this. And we just hope everyone will spread the word and send it to your friends, send it to your family, send it to anybody you know who cares about women's mental health, which should be everyone. So yeah.
No, definitely, 100%. Did want to take a moment to also share some information about some other initiatives that are happening from now until the end of the year that you guys might be interested in. Number one is we are actually doing a couple of pop-ups in the holiday season. If you are in the Toronto area, please check out the RBC marketplace that is happening at Sherway Gardens. So it's happening from now until first week of January. We're really excited and just happy to be part of a wonderful marketplace supported by RBC, where they've invited us for the second year in a row to be there. So please check it out. Check us out. It's in Etobicoke, Ontario, so you can definitely pass by there and check SITTI out, but also the other wonderful small businesses that are there. And we're also going to be part of Run the World holiday market that is going to be happening at Square One Mall in Mississauga, Ontario. So if you do live around that area, we will be there actually from Black Friday weekend all the way right until Christmas Eve. So really excited to be there. We will be offering some great like box bundles and holiday gifts that are not available on the website. You do want to check them out. Something great. Also a reminder that you can do gifting and do good at the same time. We know a lot of you are probably looking to do, quick buys from like the Amazons and the I don't know what, but consider
Don't
buying
do
from a
it.
don't do it. Don't
it.
don't fall under the pressure, but like consider buying from a small business. It does go a long way. If you are a business that is looking to do some, small employee gifting or, gifting your colleagues and friends, consider contacting us and putting in a corporate order or just a gifting order. If you have any questions, we're always available to kind of support you and guide you on personalized gifting, but also just like standard gifts that we have that are good and easy to give that are used by all and loved by all. So that's around our corporate gifting. A little bit about our pop-ups. On our website, we are actually launching, or we have actually for the past couple of weeks, pushed out free bundle campaign. So gifts with purchase with every purchase that goes out over $75. Right now, actually, you can get gifts with purchases over $60. It changes every single week. So we flip it. If you get that gift, you might lose out on it the following week. So definitely keep an eye out on these gifts that we are giving out. These are gifts that are incredible products that we've included in our previous subscription boxes that we love so much. So definitely check it out.
I think I can actually present this.
Can you?
Yeah. Share screen. Sorry, I'm literally learning how to do this while I'm trying to do it. Okay, hold on.
Cool.
Tab. Here. Okay. I think this is working. Can you see this?
Almost, yeah. So we recently launched something called the SITTI Marketplace. So if you go to Shop All, you'll see SITTI Marketplace as a collection. You can click on there, and then you'll see all the products that you can actually now purchase straight on our website that are not directly SITTI products, but these are products that we've sold or we've had in our boxes before. They're amazing, and you can now snag them on their own before, like we've never had this before. But if you go all the way down to this marketplace, you will see the bundle of the week. So this is bundle number 3. This is the gift with purchase that you will get this week with any purchase over $60. You'll get a Palm hand sanitizer and a Lepo Savon soap and a sticker sheet. This is valued at over $40.
The sticker sheets, people really underestimate these stickers. And so I gifted these to my niece and she loved them. We were on vacation over the summer and we went to this like the whole family kind of did a reunion thing. And I brought these stickers for her and there were no other like kids stuff for her to play with at this house. And she just like went freaking nuts over these stickers and was like putting them on everything and was, making little like paper like drawings and putting them on the drawings and then giving them to people at the at the reunion. And so this is a cool gift because it's something for an adult, but it's also something for I also love these stickers because you can put them on your phone case, but that's just me.
So
So
I do want to say, so I gave these to my daughter last year, and I don't know if you guys know this, but these are completely waterproof. So you can put them on your like mug tumbler, and if you put them in your dishwasher, they won't they won't go bad. Like you can actually like put them and they'll be like, you can decorate your like water tumbler or your mug tumbler, whatever it is. They're definitely dishwasher safe and waterproof safe, so they won't like go bad. Um, so I loved using them and kind of sharing them and kind of having them to decorate like my mugs and my water tumbler with. So
yeah,
definitely love them. Um, and actually, I wanted to say a little bit about the Aleppo Savon. So the Aleppo Savon is actually the only, it comes from a family that uh, historically were soap makers in Aleppo, Syria, and they became refugees to Canada, who recently actually became Canadian citizens.
right.
But they opened up a shop in Calgary where they actually now start producing Aleppo Savon soap out of a factory um, in Calgary, Canada, and Alberta. So definitely worthwhile. I love the soap bar. It's just it's something that reminds me of my grandfather. He always had these like big soap bars, and that is exactly what it is. And it's actually, I know some people that also use this to wash their hair, um, which is great. So you get this gift set every week. We are switching over the gift sets. Any purchase, it's an automatic discount. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to put a code. You will automatically get this.
Right.
If you also are interested in gifting, you can feel free to visit our gifting page and fill out a form, and we will definitely get in touch with you shortly within 48 hours if you filling out the form to see what some of your needs are and how we can kind of help customize this further along for you. So you fill in a couple of details, and then we get in touch with you shortly after to see how we can bring it all together. Whatever budget you have, we try to figure it out, and then support you in that. Since you're on here, Jackie, do you think you can hop over to our crowdfunding page so we can show them what it looks like?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, of
amazing.
course. Um,
I like this sharing.
I
It makes
know.
it
Now I
super
feel it.
interactive.
Let's just share everything. Where's my
Yeah, so
social security number? Let's just no.
so
This is
this
our
is our
crowdfunding campaign.
yeah, this is our mental health and wellness retreat for refugee women crowdfunding campaign on I Fund Women. As you can see, our goal is $20,000. Thank you so much to the 4 funders that have donated
Woo!
$240 so far. We're
Yay.
really excited. We're confident that you guys can help us reach our end goal. These are some of the information that we're talking about, the rewards on the side. So you'll see what you get with every kind
Two
of
of these are
set.
already gone. Can I just say
Oh,
also, 2 of these are gone. There's 18 left. There are limited amounts of these rewards. So please come and get them while you can, while they're available. And as Nora mentioned, if you can only just give $5, then
yeah.
just give $5 and we'll send you a really beautiful thank you note in your email, plus a special discount perhaps. So just give what you can. We're really excited for all of these rewards. This one is really cool. We have Tear Shop, who's an amazing sponsor with us on this campaign. They have a zero waste cleaning recipe book. So it's got 5 different recipes in there that you can use to create a zero waste household cleaning kit. That also has already been purchased by 2 supporters, so thank you so much. We have this beautiful campaign exclusive bundle that is only available here on this campaign. So if you are able to give $250, you get the exclusive campaign bundle. And that is, you get our SITTI saffron olive oil soap bar, our thyme tea pouch. You get this really luxurious Jude Home Turkish hand towel, and also very luxurious Lise rose gold shaver kit. I mean, you feel like you're it's like a very expensive shaving experience. There's also the refugee bath bomb set of 3 bath bomb kit, the 3 shits lip treatment kit, and Amalusta hand cream, which just makes your hands feel like butter.
Mhm.
And then we also have Tease Tea as a sponsor for this campaign. They've been incredibly generous, and so we have a limited amount of gifts from them. They have their Tease Tea limited edition tea blends bundles, so you get 3 different loose leaf tea blends, plus access to the award-winning film documentary Neighborhood Storyteller. We've partnered with Home Storytellers for this, and so this is, again, another sponsor we're so grateful to have be a part of this campaign. Home Storytellers, they're a production company, documentary film company created by a father-daughter duo who've both spent many years working in the nonprofit space and in the filmmaking space. And they essentially saw a need for documentary films to be made about the refugee community. And there was just a real kind of lack of storytelling around these narratives of hope and progress, and really humanizing this experience. So they've done a beautiful job with this documentary. Noora and I both have watched it, and it left us in tears, I would say. So like good tears. I don't know if it's necessarily like sad, but and then also we have a really exciting gift here, a really exciting reward with Shireen Kumis. It's a 1-hour virtual group deep release hatha yoga session. So it's for you, whoever wants to purchase this. There are 3 of them available, and up to 9 friends or colleagues. This is a great corporate gifting, or corporate, like if you have a department with 9 other people in it and you want to give this gift to your department for the holidays and kind of do this kind of team bonding experience, this is a great reward to purchase.
100%.
Yeah.
I think I want to snag that one.
We should, maybe we should all do it together. Maybe we can ask her. But this is a great opportunity. And again, these are not all the rewards that are going to be here, and there's only limited amounts of each. So snag them while you can. There's also an incredible amount of information on this page about women's mental health in the refugee community, what this retreat will be like, what the programming is going to provide for. It's all here. So please don't hesitate to check it out and purchase a reward. Yeah. And there's a cool film. We have it's only
a
like
video.
It's like 2.5 minute short video. But it's really, I think it's really beautiful, and you should all check it out.
Yeah, so just go on our page. We'll have all the links up under this video, and also in our link in bio. You can also see or read more about this in our press page on our website. We have a press release out on information about this crowdfunding campaign. Please definitely consider supporting this. We would like to get to an ambitious $10,000 by the end of the week.
By the end of the first 7 days.
I'm hoping we can leverage our community to really like push this forward.
I think we can.
And I think we can. I think like collectively, if everybody gives what they can in time for the holidays, we spend so much money on so many things, and just sometimes we just don't realize it. And so I know this is a tough time for some people, but also knowing that you're putting towards something that is going to do good can go a long way. And this is our ask, I guess, this holiday season is, consider giving to the mental health of refugees. And I think that's something that we can all collectively do, that can create a positive difference for the community that we work with, and also just in general, to like create programming that can help support the longevity of health and wellness as a whole. And hopefully to be able to share some of these learnings with you along the way.
Yeah. So I think we'll leave it at that. Is there anything else that we forgot?
No, I mean, I think we're probably going to have another SITTI before the end of the year, to give you maybe updates and to kind of see where we're at. We do also have some major things we've been cooking up in the back end. We cannot say anything. Our lips are sealed. So we'll leave that like FOMO, like what is it?
Yeah, I
A
mean, it
lot of
is really exciting. There are lots of exciting things.
There's
I think,
definitely a lot of exciting stuff. I think when you are a small business, you're constantly just like pushing
right.
different things through, and we're super 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 excited to actually talk about what we've been working on so like extensively on the back end. But we will keep our lips sealed for next time.
Yeah.
We know our team has been working incredibly hard to fulfill some big projects that we were working on,
Yep.
and really trying to push things forward. Um,
I think also, it's important to mention that we just, well, we don't, I think we tend to be working all the time. We're just pushing to like make sure that we can get SITTI to the next level so that we can continue to fulfill our mission and continue to do what we have set out to do. But oftentimes it's really hard to find space in that to just like pause and say thank you. And
yeah,
we really want this retreat as part of our larger health and wellness initiative to also be an opportunity to say thank you to our team, and they work so hard, and they are working also in an environment that is not the easiest place to work so hard in, because there are so many other external factors, as we were just
yeah.
discussing. So if you can help us make this retreat possible, make this health and wellness initiative possible for the next year, it also just, I think, really extends a huge message of gratitude to our team for everything that they do, everything they've done and continue to do, not just for SITTI, but for their families and for themselves. Like, they deserve this. They more than deserve this. So by contributing to this campaign, that's the message you're sending, is like, you deserve this, like, hands down. So yeah.
I just want to end off this episode by saying that all the work we're able to do and everything, in terms of our commitment to the refugee community, is not possible without some of your continuous support, right? Like a
Right.
lot of you have come up, have, always made it a point to purchase from us and support us. And whether it's corporate gifting or, other initiatives, even like, have us be a small part of your wedding or your baby shower or
Mhm.
your bridal shower. These are things that really, really go a long way. It might be small for you, or it might be a small part of what, your bigger plans are. But for us, it really does go a long way for us to help continue to secure employment opportunities for the women, continue to allow us to serve and fulfill our mission essentially by working with refugees on a continuous basis. I mean, we're almost 7 years in to running our enterprise, and I think we are just getting started with
Right.
some of the work that we're doing. Sometimes it feels like we've been doing it for forever, and I'm just really really hopeful. We see small changes that happen over time and what it does when you are sticking with a community long term. And again, I want to thank each and every single one of you for your continuous support. And we're confident that we can continue to grow, and elevate and expand into working with, you know, a larger number of refugee communities globally, um, you know, hand in hand with you guys. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.